Good evening, everybody. Good to be back at BVI here tonight for the music ministry course. We're going to continue studying our music theory and do a hymnology, of course, as always. Before we get into it, certainly want to say hello and welcome to everybody that's out in Nebraska. Anyone else that's watching on YouTube, sure to appreciate you taking time to study with us. Well, tonight we're going to look at Holy, Holy, Holy. This is one of my more favorite Sunday morning songs that I like to pull out. It really helps to kind of set the mood for the service, I think. It's a beautiful song. Reginald Heber was born in the area of Cheshire, England on April the 21st, 1783, of scholarly and well-to-do parents. At the age of 17, he entered Oxford University, where his scholarship and literary abilities received much attention. Following his ordination to the ministry of the Anglican Church, he served for the next 16 years at an obscure parish church in the little village of Hodnet in Western England. Throughout his ministry, he was known and respected as a man of rare refinement and noble Christian character. Heber was also noted as a prolific literary writer, making frequent contributions to magazines with his poetry, essays, and hymns. In 1823, just 3 years before his early death at the age of 43, Heber was sent to India to serve as the Bishop of Calcutta. This responsibility included not only India, but the island of Ceylon and all of Australia as well. The pressures of this work, along with the humid climate of that area, wore heavily upon his health. One Sunday morning, after preaching to a large outdoor crowd of Indians on the subject of the evils of their caste system, he evidently suffered a sunstroke and died very suddenly. 1 year after his untimely death, a collection of his 57 choice hymns was published by his widow and many friends. Most of these hymns are still in use today. This hymn was written by Reginald Heber specifically for its liturgical use on Trinity Sunday, which occurs 8 weeks after Easter. The emphasis of this Sunday's service is to reaffirm the doctrine of the triune Godhead. Though the word Trinity is not found in the Scriptures, yet the truth of three persons equal and eternal with each other is clearly taught throughout God's Word. Reginald Heber is also the author of the hymn From Greenland's Icy Mountains. The tune for this text has been named Nicaea, which was named after the Council of Nicaea held in Asia Minor in 325 AD. When the doctrine of the Trinity was examined and held to be a true and essential doctrine of the Christian faith. In 1861, this tune was composed specifically for these words by one of England's leading church musicians of the 19th century, Dr. John Bacchus Dykes. This popular composer has contributed more than 300 hymn tunes. Most of them are still in use today. For example, he wrote the tunes to I Heard the Voice of Jesus Say, Jesus, the Very Thought of Thee, Eternal Father, Strong to Save, and Oh, for a Closer Walk with God. Mom, if you'll jump on the piano, we'll all sing together, Holy, Holy, Holy. And there's 4 verses, so I reckon we'll sing 4 verses. Sounds good to me. How many times have I said, hate to be the 3rd verse in a Baptist hymn? First, second, and last. No, there's 4, so we're going to do 4. All right? Here we go.
Shall rise to thee.
much. Fantastic. Okay, so let's get right into it tonight. We've got a lot of ground to cover. So last week we looked at the notes of the treble clef. Tonight we're going to look at the notes of the bass clef. Now this is probably well, obviously the bass clef is not as familiar to most people, so it's a little harder for people to grasp the notes of the bass clef, okay? Let me get a little clef made. Okay. So the bass clef, it has its own set lines and spaces names as well. Just like in the treble clef, you know, the spaces were F-A-C-E, and the lines were every good boy does fine, or E, G, B, D, F. In the bass clef, as you see on your outline there in the first page, for the lines, it's G, B, D, F, A, which we adopt good boys do fine always, or good boys deserve fudge always. You could also say great big dogs fight animals, or great big dragons fly around. There's all kinds of different ways that you can make up your own mnemonic device to remember it, but these are the most common. Good boys do fine always, and great big dogs fight animals, okay? The fudge one isn't that common, but I still like it because fudge is good. Anyway, and on the spaces, instead of face, it's A-C-E-G, which the most common acronym is all cows eat grass, or all cars eat gas. You could also say all carbs expand gargantuanly. I don't know. All kinds of different things that you could throw in there. Just saying that A-C-E-G, whatever works for you to remember your lines and your spaces. Now, as my father-in-law and I were discussing coming to class tonight, one of the hardest things is for your mind to get to the place where it clicks when you just simply look and name. Right now, most of you are in the beginning stages where you're having to go, okay, that's the fourth line on the treble clef, so it's every good boy does, okay, E-G-B-D, okay, and that's what you're having to do. Eventually, as long as you keep working on it, you'll be able to look at it and say that top line's an F, the second line's a G, and you'll be able to look at it and just be able to spit it out. But it takes lots of practice. The key is, first of all, is that a line or a space. It's pretty easy to tell if it's a line or a space, and that eliminates a whole slew of different notes that it can't be. So if you automatically make that division, line or space, that narrows it down to either 4 or 5 possibilities. So that cuts it in half just about, okay? So let's get started and turn to our first worksheet there, second page of your notes I gave you. The note reading worksheet, bass clef exercise number 1. What you're going to do is you're going to review the line notes, and then you've got 2 lines worth of notes that you need to write the note name, the letter, under each one of those, okay? So good boys do, oh, how about that's a new one. Good boys do fly airplanes. I've never seen that one before. Okay, great big dogs fight animals, whatever you want to call it, but it's GBDFA. So go ahead and start, get your first 2 lines there done, and then give her a rest for a second. I'll see if I can't expand my clef here. Actually, I'm going to make a grand staff while you guys are working on that. I love how red erases so cleanly. It's fantastic. What a blessing. Where's Dr. Scott Caldwell when you need him? All right, you got it? Just about? Okay, let's look at the spaces now. Your spaces, as we said, were A-C-E-G. All's cows eat all's cows. I sound like the Offingers from Ohio. She says use guys all the time. All's cows. All cows eat grass. All cars eat gas. So do your 2 lines worth of spaces following that acronym there. All cows eat grass. Okay, you got your spaces done? All right, go ahead and do your bottom 3, where you write each note name underneath and make note of the word that it spells. That's how you can check that you did it right. It should spell a word. Remember, this is all bass clef. Don't get confused. We're not doing both. We're just doing bass clef. But this one will be lines and spaces. Make sure it spells a word. Going to give you about 45 seconds more to work on those, and then we'll move on. By the way, at the end of class, we're going to go back and review last week's, just to make sure you got your notes right. Okay? You don't get a grade for those. I'm not going to count them as homework. Your homework is your speed test, just to see how fast you did it and make sure you got them right. But we'll review to make sure you got all your notes correct from last week as well. Okay, turn to page 2, next worksheet. This one's titled Name Pitches 2, Bass Staff. So you have 9 quarter notes there. So if you would, go ahead and name each of those 9 pitches. This shouldn't take you as long, so when you're done, if you would, put your pen down and look at me so I'll know. I don't need to allow as much time on this one since it's so short, but you might bring any pizza with them, tacos or anything. Boy, I'd be good right about now. Man, I would. Okay, now turn the page. This one is the staff, bass clef. So let's review again. A clef appears at the beginning of each staff. We have treble clef, and it's also called the G clef, remember? Because it hugs and wraps around the G line of that staff. That's how we know that the relationship of every note in that staff, because the G line is the one the treble clef hugs. So up and below, we know that it's going to be relative to that G. Bass clef, we know, is also known as the F clef because it rests upon, and these surround the F line of the bass clef. So everything is relative up and down to the 4th line, which is the F. Practice drawing your bass clef signs in exercise number 1. Trace over the first 3, and then you've got 5 more that you'll make following that. So go ahead and do that real quick. Trace the first 3 and then make 5 on your own. All right, as soon as you're done with that, go ahead and go on to number 2. Make sure you draw your bass clef first, and then write the letter name of each note in the space provided. If you find you struggle more with the bass clef, you could do what I did, and I took up the tuba. That's how I learned the bass clef, because the tuba plays off the bass clef. It allowed me to learn my ledger lines below it and everything, but to be able to play the bass clef.
That could be easier way.
Yeah, there probably is a lot lighter way, for sure. Yeah, them suckers aren't easy to tote around. But it worked for me, unfortunately. I didn't get that until high school. But I had no need, because all I did was, I played the trumpet. I mean, I could read the bass clef, but I wasn't, fluent. But when you play an instrument in the band, that's all you do. Boy, you really get to know. You and bass clef get to become chums. So we got to know each other really well. I never forgot it all. Thank goodness. Okay, go ahead and go to number 3. Draw your bass clef in. And now I want you to... Well, it says just to draw notes, so you could use a whole note, since that's what the rest of them are doing there. Use a whole note and draw it accordingly. And if it can be in more than one location, just pick one. So put your bass clef first, and then make your whole note on the appropriate line or space. By the way, which notes could have 2 possible locations? Not using ledger lines. But which 2 notes could possibly be a line or a space in the bass clef? A, which would be the first space, and which line? The last line, very good.
G.
And G, because G is the first line or the last space. There you go. Make your bass clefs pretty now. Don't just throw them in there. Make them look nice. And if, while other people are catching up, if you're finished but you didn't get finished on the first worksheet or anything like that, you can always go back and fill those in while we're waiting. And we've got extra time on this exercise, so go ahead and, by all means, take your time and get it right. Alright, number 4. Draw your bass clef at the beginning of the staff, and then write each letter name for the note, then circle the highest of each pair within each measure. Circle the highest within each measure. How many of these notes are in each measure?
2.
There's 2. So if that was a piece of music, what time signature would that have to be? It'd have to be 8/8, just so you know. Not that it matters. It means the whole note gets the whole note. No, it would be 2/8, wouldn't it? No, it'd be, yeah, it'd be 2/8. Because the whole note gets 1 beat if it's like this, and you would have 8. I forget it. Who cares? You'll never have a song where you're going to have 2 whole notes in the same measure anyway. So what difference does it make? I'm telling you, anybody got pizza? Well, if it's in cut time, I can understand that. Yeah, you're right. Alright, and once you're done with line number 4, go ahead and do number 5. Draw your bass clef at the beginning, and then go in and give each note its name, and then draw the lower of each pair in the measures. Scotty, what's your favorite kind of fudge?
Non-existent.
You don't like fudge?
It's not a sweet.
You're kidding.
No, no sweets.
Cinnamon roll, that's it.
You're a Baptist?
I'll eat chicken.
Oh, amen. All right, chicken and sweet tea.
But no banana pudding.
What? You're from the country too, the mountains. You don't like banana pudding?
I don't like
It's not a
sugar.
Marlow.
Well, gracious.
Yeah, I don't like sugar.
What? I eat sugar for breakfast. By the spoonful, it helps the medicine go down. Amen. So you don't like Kool-Aid?
Not really, no.
Help my time.
I eat a cookie. I'll eat a cookie.
You eat a cookie.
As long as it's not too sweet.
Should we give you a round of applause? Give him a cookie. All right, you'll finish with number 5. Coming to the end. You still got about 30 seconds, so make full use of that. So, what do you do for dessert?
I don't eat dessert.
You don't eat salt?
Well, fruit.
Okay,
I'll
that's
eat
not
fruit.
dessert. I mean, if you're on a
I
diet,
do
I
like,
guess. But...
you ever had a sonker, blackberry sonker?
Yeah, we did those in the Boy Scouts.
Sort of like a cobbler, but
Yeah.
it's more of a biscuit.
Yeah, we used to make those in the Boy Scouts in a Dutch oven on fire.
I'll eat those.
Oh, now you're talking.
No ice cream, though.
Oh, good night.
Yeah.
Phew. Bless your
I
heart.
get his share at work.
Okay. Okay, good. He gets the cake. All right, next page. Note reading worksheet, basic Clef exercise number 2. Again, your lions are good boys. Do fine always. Great big dogs fight animals. Or good boys do fly airplanes. Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
It's not good boys do eat grass then.
No, good boys don't eat grass. You're mixing your metaphors there.
Everybody be thinking about that.
Yeah. Good boys do fly airplanes. Good boys do fine always. Good boys deserve fudge always. So go ahead and do your next exercise there. Follow suit in writing quarter notes where your notes should be. Notice that notes below the middle line, again, middle line and down, they point up. Middle line could be either. I prefer that the middle line would point down, but then when you get to the second space, they point up, your stems, as it's showing you. You could do either way on the middle line. You could point on do the left side and go down, or the right side, the stem go up. But like I told you last week, I'm not really concerned about you doing your stems properly yet, because that's an exercise to come. But should you want to venture that, the middle line is your point of reference. It can go either way. I know these are more time consuming, having to make those black dots. when you're finished with that, you can go ahead and do your spaces. Use quarter notes again, just like you are. All cows eat grass, all cars eat gas. All crazies enjoy glycerin. And in honor of the Chinese New Year, all Chinese enjoy goats. It's because it's the year of the goat. Y'all ever eat goat before?
Mm-hmm.
Have you? Is it tough?
I was pregnant. It was sickening.
Not bad. I've had horse.
Horse.
Yeah, I've had horse, but I've never had goat. Yeah.
And do what you think.
Yeah. There's a, well, yeah.
Farmer makes a lot of meat.
Yeah, you're right. You just never know. I just prefer not to ask. Bologna's a fascinating thing. Is it really meat? Can you really classify that as meat? Bologna's good. I hate it when I get bologna and there's something hard in it, though. Yeah, that's just a bad feeling. It's like getting a sausage biscuit at McDonald's and you hit a hard spot. And you're like, what is that my tooth or somebody else's? What is that? I'm just kidding. I love McDonald's. Oh, they're going to sue me for all I own. I just have a vengeance because they closed ours down on my side of town for remodeling. They have 29 days to get it fixed, according to their timetable.
They tore it down.
Yeah, they tore it down completely. Bulldozed it, flattened it, rotated it, building it up.
I don't believe you call that remodeling, would you?
No, that's more like just reconstruction, I guess. I hope it's not going to be the same bathroom. That'd be remodeling.
They saved it.
Yeah, they probably put it in the Shell station next door and then brought it back. How did we go from grass to...
He's hungry.
He's hungry.
That's right, pizza. That's what it was. I'm going to call my wife. You want Little Caesars after? Okay, once you're done with your spaces, go ahead and work on... We're going to have to move on here in just a second, but go ahead and get started on the third exercise there. Use half notes this time. Remember the difference between half notes and quarter notes. The difference is a quarter note has a black dot. The head is full with a stem. Half note is not. It's hollow. And then you get to the whole note, it has no stem at all. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next sheet. This one is musical words in the bass clef, number 1. So each group of notes spell a word. You're going to write out the word as you see it spelled. Try to visualize the word instead of just doing it note by note. Try to look at it and go, what is that? I'll help you out. The first one is fad. Fad, I'm sorry. Fad. Don't listen to the teacher, you'll go wrong. A lot of you are wondering, well, how do I know what it is above or below? Yeah, above or below, just how the notes progress, you just got to work backwards. That first one is an F because the bottom line is a G. What comes before F and before G in the alphabet? F. So it would come here. And see how it spells F-A-C-E. If you put an F in this one right here, it's the same. It's the same progression. Works its way up. Huh. Number 3 really don't make sense, does it? I guess if you're a goat, if you're Chinese, you get it. That's That's what it is. I was like, what in the world? Okay. That's it. If it don't make sense, you know you're wrong, so go back and fix it. I'm trying to do it in my head, and I'm like, that's the strangest word I've ever seen. The point of doing it this way is it increases your recognition speed. Because if you visualize it as a whole instead of one at a time, if you do it one at a time, it's no different than the other exercises. But if you sit back and look at it and work it out in your mind, it helps you to start piecing the puzzle together faster. So step back and look at it and figure the word out. Don't just do it one note at a time. That'll help you to speed up a little bit. A little less than a minute to finish up if you're not already. Twenty seconds. All right, next page. It's another exercise of spelling with pitches. Figure out your words here. Spell your words with the base pitches. Do it like I said. Sit back and visualize it to try to figure out what it's saying to help you to group them together and read it more speedily. It means to, basically to overthrow or to take the place of. Like if you supersede something, you go above and beyond. To dispose, like to knock somebody out of that position or something like that. That's the best definition I can come up with. Hey, it's not a common word for us.
Sing that part of it, I said.
Yeah, you know. When I think of seed, I think of secede, like from the union, but that's different, I think. No, it's not. Is
Yeah,
it?
the CE is the-
I gotcha. This is different. This is CEDE. Gotcha. Don't forget about the primitives and the Smoky Mountain reunion. Going to be at Baptist Home coming up on the 20th. Is that right? 20th. Starts at 7.
7 p.m. doors open, 5:30.
Doors open at 5:30. Gotcha. How much does it cost?
As much as you want to put in.
Amen. All right. Gonna be passing the hat.
Don't want to sell them $400-something bills like we did last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
Pass that back around.
Yeah, no kidding. Make another rotation.
All them Georges go to church.
That's it. Amen. Too bad Benjamin Franklin don't go to church very often.
Hamilton doesn't.
Y'all ever been to a church where they take debit and credit cards for the offerings and stuff? It's pretty interesting. You can pay your tithes like via PayPal or on the church website, or you can swipe your card if you don't have cash. They take up an offering, you strap the cash. Well, guess what? We're going to make it even easier for you to give.
Are you paying a tithe with a credit card?
I don't think so, because you still technically haven't paid it until you pay the credit card back. Yeah. Pretty sure God said, "Oh no, man," and when you use your credit card, you're in debt to God and the bank. So you're like double dipping in God's curses right there. So don't do that. That's not good.
Pay the debit card.
Debit card, yeah. As long as you're not tapping into your check line reserve because you overdrew. All right, let's move to the next page. A musical story. Complete the story by filling in the note names underneath each measure. Let's go through a few of them together. I went on a fun trip with my friend. We packed our baggage, it looks like, and climbed into a cab. Along the way, we stopped at a cafe to feed our face. Sounds just like the last one, doesn't it? But it's in different positions. So don't pull out your last one and copy it. But read your words. And just so you know, Scotty discovered a nice little app you can download onto your smartphone if you want to practice sight reading and names of notes and things like that. It'd be a good tool for some of you if you have a smartphone to download. There are actually several. If you have an iPhone, go to the App Store. There's several that you can download there that are free. Very, very handy to have. Music theory apps to help keep you sharp. Egg, cabbage, and beef. Mercy. Woof. Bet Scotty would eat that. I'm sure on it. No. Okay. You know, I can't tell the difference between cabbage and lettuce. Not taste-wise, I mean like visual-wise. When we were living with Megan's parents while we were building our house, I'd pull out the drawer and I'd grab a head of cabbage and put it on my sandwich. I'd be like, good night. Jerry, your lettuce is rotten. And he'd be like, let me see that. He'd be like, it's cabbage. I'm like, how do you tell? They're both on the head. Big difference. Which is why I prefer leaf lettuce. I like my romaine lettuce. It's green and it's much more nutritious than just the iceberg, because iceberg is just water. Oh my, I could tell you some stories. Food gets confusing to me at times. Is a pumpkin a squash or a melon?
Gourd.
It's a gourd. How about that? A few more minutes to finish this one up. And once you're done, you can go back and finish any of the other ones you haven't finished completely if you need the extra time. All right, let's go back to last week's exercises real quick and review, just to make sure that everybody has the right notes. Make sure you're correct on everything. I know we went over a few of them last time, but I don't remember which ones we did, so we'll just start over. Let's go through them all. Start with your second page, which will be the note reading worksheet, treble clef exercise number 1. You know. Alright, so starting with the lines, yours should be as follows. FDBF, DBGD, BGEB, GEBE, EGBG, GBDB, EBGF, and EFDB. Then you have your spaces, FAFC, ACAE, ECEA, CACF, ACAC, FEFE, FACE, and ECFA. Then in the bottom note, the exercises, you have both lines and spaces. It should be BEAD, which spells bead. Your second one should be AGE, which is age. Then you should have spelled the word cage, then the word bad. Then the word beg, then ace, then bed, then dad, then it should be feed, then you should have cabbage, then you should have dead, you should have baggage for your last one. Second page, name pitches 1, treble staff, should be F, F, G, D, C, E, E, B, A. Next on the staff, treble clef. You drew your treble clefs, then you're to draw a treble clef and name your notes there. So it's F, C, A, F, E, G, A, D, E, F. Then number 3, you should have written those on the proper places. Your A should have been on your second space, C should have been third space, E the fourth space. F could have been the first space or the fifth line. D should have been on the fourth line, B on the third line, A on the second space, F the first space or fifth line, and then D should have been your fourth line, G on your second line. Then after you drew your treble clef in the fourth exercise, your notes should be E, G, B, D, F, F, C, D, E, E, G, A. Then number 5 should have, and of course you were supposed to circle the one that was highest. That's obvious. You can tell by looking at them which one's higher on the ladder scale there. Number 5, it should be F, E, and then AB, GE, DF, EG, and DD. Next worksheet, note reading worksheet, treble clef exercise number 2. Doing quarter notes this time. You have EB, and then you were to notate the rest of them. So you should have one on your second line, your fourth line. Your second line, fourth line, third line, and then you should have either the fifth line or the first space. Then should be your third line, first space or fifth line, first line or fourth space, then second line. First space or fifth line, the fourth line, third line, first line, or the fourth space. Same thing for that one. And then you should have your second line, your third line, your second line, third line, fourth line, third line. First line or fourth space, third line, second line, fifth line, fourth space or first line, your first space or fifth line, fourth line, and third line. Okay? And then for the spaces, you should have your... Actually, why did I tell you you could have it on either or, because we was doing lines only. So it's not either or, it's lines only. My fault on that first exercise. Second one is just spaces, so you should have your third space, fourth space, second space, third space, second space, fourth space, third space, second space, first space, second space. Then your first, second, third, and back to the first. Second, third, first, fourth, fourth, third, second, first. Fourth, second, third, second. And then for the ones that has both, should be your third line, and your E should be where? First line or fourth space. Second space, fourth line. Second space, second line, first line or fourth space. Third space, second line, first line or fourth space. Third line, second line, fourth line. Third line, first space or fourth line or first space. Second line, second space, third space, fourth space or first line. Third line, first line or fourth space. The fourth line, second space, fourth line. First space or fifth line, first line or fourth space. Same. And then the fourth line. Third space, second space, third line, second space, second line, first line or fourth space. Fourth line, first line, fourth space, second space, fourth line. Third line, second space, second line, second space, second line, first line, or fourth space. Alright, musical words, treble clef number 1, you should have written out the word bag. Number 2 should have been the word cab. Number 3 should have been egg. Number 4 should have been fed. Number 5 would have been gab. Number 6 is cage. Number 7 is fade. Number 8, age. Number 9, bee. Number 10, fad, sorry. Number 11, see I'm having to do this as I go, I don't have this written down. Number 11 would be bead. Number 12 is edge. Number 13 is ace. 14, beg. 15, ebb, like ebb and flow. 16 should have been deed. 17 would have been face, and 18 would be aid, like lemonade. No, add. Off the cuff.
Which note is an I?
Huh?
Which note is an I?
That's a C sharp -2. Okay, spell your word for triple pitches. What did you get for word number 1?
Face.
2,
Yeah.
3,
Fade. Fade.
and 4,
Feed.
5,
Bead.
6,
Bead.
7,
Leaf.
8,
Cage.
9,
Bag.
10,
Cab.
11,
Cab.
12,
Cafe.
13,
Bad.
14,
Cad.
15.
Bad.
Many of you were probably wondering what a cad was, weren't you? It's an indiscreet gentleman.
Yeah.
Non-discrete man. Okay. 15 was what? 16,
B,
17,
H,
18,
head,
19,
leg,
20,
bed,
21,
bed,
22,
C,
23,
H,
24,
ace,
25,
B,
26,
ad,
27,
edge,
28.
fade.
A musical story. I went on a fun trip with my friend. We packed our baggage, climbed into a cab. Along the way, we stopped at a cafe to feed our face. We had an egg, cabbage, and beef sandwich. Ugh. See, sandwich is missing in yours. The food was really bad. We felt like we should be in bed. So I begged my friend to cut the gab and return home. I feared that I would fade and felt like an animal in a cage. Suddenly I awoke and found myself at home in bed. It had only been a bad dream. Right. So you should have done your note name speed test. If you have not turned that in, do so now. Pass it forward. Your homework tonight. Finish the worksheets and do note name speed test on the bass clef. See if you can get it in under a minute. Okay? All right. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody out on YouTube and everybody in Nebraska. Thank you. I pray that this is helping. You just need to spend lots of extra time to get it, and eventually it will click. There's a wall you have to break through mentally, and then once you do it, you'll be able to really click and just move along. Okay? Thank you very much. God bless you. Have a good night.